Welcome to part 2 of my 2023 setup for my planner this year. I'm Bailey Rivera and I'm so happy to have you here. If you want to check out part 1, I will have that linked below. The reason why I have 2 parts is because this planner I use quite a bit for memory keeping and journaling, and so in the beginning of the planner I end up having quite a few layouts that I utilize for those things prior to starting my months. To start today, I wanted to show you a couple pages that actually something happened with the video and we lost 2 spreads. So I just wanted to quickly talk about the 2 spreads that we are missing footage for. This is my check this out and ideas for another day spread. You can see that it's quite simple. I used Micron and Tombow markers to do all of the different boxes, and then this right here is just a fun washi tape that I have. Here, I'll show you. It has 3 separate sizes, and I have really enjoyed using that one. So I have check this out, wish list, and gift ideas. I had a page like this last year and found it quite useful for just whenever I'd have like a quick idea for something, I would jot it down and then have been able to go back for birthdays and holidays and stuff like that. And then this year I wanted to include something kind of like a brain dump, and that's what I have here, is ideas for another day. Like I have an idea, but I know I'm not going to get to it really anytime soon. That way those ideas don't get lost and I can always revisit them. Moving to the next spread, I have my 2023 year-end photos. Whereas last year I left this page blank, this year I decided to use a photo and to actually set up where each month my favorite photo was going to be. You can see for these papers, while they're high quality, there is some ghosting, and quite a bit of ghosting if you have a dark marker on one side. So just keep that in mind when you're making it. For me, it's never really a huge deal, and these are actually going to be behind photos, so I'm really not super concerned about that. I think once the page is filled out, it will be really special. So yeah, I just used a Micron and I used some metallic stickers and then my stamps to complete the page. Turning to my next spread, this is actually where the footage of me making it picks back up, which is awesome. This spread is for my kitchen ideas, cooking recipes, that kind of thing, preserving and zero waste. So if you have watched my 2022 flip through, which I will also link, you will know that I had something similar to this in this year's planner, and I did not utilize it during the year. However, I am planning to go through my planner, go through my my recipes that I've printed out this year and sort of take notes and reflection as I wind down the year. So I wanted to be able to include it for 2023 and utilize it in probably a similar way. You'll see I just used some cursive calligraphy with the brush tip to write kitchen, and then have used the brush end to sort of decorate with lines around that. And then I'm just creating boxes for the different categories that I'm going to kind of track in this spread, as well as I am including goals for my cooking this year. So things I imagine will be like cooking more at home and trying 1 new recipe a week or something like that. And then the categories that I'm including are staples, meals, and freezer. So to make it kind of fun, I drew in a really dark green kind of tape-like box at the top of each column, and then I'm using my white gel pen to write those words over that dark box. Again, you have to kind of be careful where you put something that dark within the planner if your paper ghosts like mine does in the Loistrom journal. It's really one of the only sort of downsides for me in using this planner, but I don't utilize that very much, so it's not a huge deal. And then moving to the next page, for preserving and zero waste, I'm using a block lettering style that I've lightly penciled in prior for the title on this page. So I am just using the fine tip on the other side of the Tombow pen to go around that, leaving the centers empty. And I utilized this lettering style a good bit last year, and I really like it. I like the contrast of it with the calligraphy script style. So once I finished that, I added a little "and" in the middle in a script, and then I continued to work on the page. I drew little ball canning jars. It's a very simply little box with in the light green and the little gray top, and then I added a little script ball. I did this last year as well, and I thought it turned out so cute. And once all of the illustrations were in, I just made a section for my goals, which I plan to journal about prior to the year starting. And then I made a big box in the middle, just kind of to record the things that I take notes or record things I've done. And then just another section for notes. So I gave myself quite a lot of free space here, because I don't have a clear idea of exactly what is going to happen within this realm during the year 2023. And with that, this spread is complete. This next spread is probably the one I was most excited about making, and also my favorite and how it turned out. And that is my gardening spread. I wanted to include and expand on my gardening spread and notes from my planner last year. And so I continued with the greenhouse theme in this spread, and I decided to kind of draw some topiary pots and just decorate around the penciled in greenhouse structure before actually kind of boxing anything in. To do that, I used the brush end of like a light brown marker, and then the tip end of the dark green marker, and just added really little kind of like very sketchy leaves to those circle shapes I penciled in. And I think it's a really fast and effective way to illustrate that type of thing. Next, I added the little lighter green, little greenery in my block lettering that I had penciled in, kind of like my zero waste and preserving lettering, but instead of leaving it empty, I decided to fill it in with light green leaves, and then finally to outline it in the same dark green I used for the topiaries. Once the lettering was done, I went around the simple greenhouse shape with the dark green marker, and then I decided to add in the lines, the brush lines on either side of the greenhouse to give myself space to journal about my wins for the year and things that I need to improve on in 2023. After that was done, I drew 2 seed packets on the top, the backs of the envelopes of them. I thought that would be a really cute little way to decorate a box. So I just added, different lines to make those envelopes. And I think that that is the perfect finishing to that page. I think it turned out so cute. So once that was done, I jumped to the other side and I made myself a long rectangle, and I'm kind of making it look like a receipt with little zigzag lines on the top and bottom. And this is going to be a place for me to record plants that I have ordered. So I do a good bit of mail ordering for like fruit trees and different plants for the garden throughout the winter season, and it's easy to lose track of those. So I thought that would be a good place to record them. And then I'm making more pots to decorate the top of the page, this time different sizes and shapes, filling them in, and then adding different plants to each to kind of decorate those and have a little container garden at the top of my page. At the bottom, I am adding more light green brush lines in order to, kind of tie in the other side to this side, and that will be a place for me to write my goals for the year. And then for the last box that I decided to add to this page, I went ahead and decided to make my own kind of graph paper. I'm not exactly sure yet what I'm going to write here, but I thought it would be a nice design element and it will kind of round out the spread. And overall, I'm happy with the way it looks. So essentially, I just used the ruler to draw down the dotted lines vertically and then horizontally in order to make my own graph paper. And then once I was done with all of the skeletal work, I went ahead and added all of the titles and prompts where I wanted to add everything. So wins and to improve, and then the little seed packets will be my seed order, planning, and then goals and the plants that I've ordered. And with that, my absolute favorite setup spread is done. My very last spread in my setup is the 2023 year at a glance. And because of the sort of like complicated nature of this layout and having to include all of the calendars and months and have it all be centered and everything, I did do quite a bit of penciling in prior to actually starting to write in with the Micron. I certainly did not want to make any mistakes in terms of the making sure all the months were there and making sure all of the numbers were correct within the months, because correcting that seemed like it could be kind of a challenge. So I went ahead and spent the time to carefully pencil everything in before I went in with the marker. And I'm glad that I did. I would say that this layout, for as simple as it is, this one definitely is the one that took me the longest in the entire setup. I was debating whether or not I even wanted this spread in my planner this year because I didn't really utilize it, but I do plan to mark like gardening dates, like 4 weeks before frost, 6 weeks before frost, 8 weeks before frost, all of those things that I utilize in my seed starting. And I think being able to see everything very cleanly on a page and count back and then write notes below it is actually going to be really helpful. So I did want to include a very simplified version of what I did last year. And over the calendars, before I used the Micron, I went ahead and used some light colors. I chose 6 different light colors and used them twice each. And I just highlighted over those numbers to kind of make the page pop. So once all of that was filled in and done, I went in with my teeny tiny 0.05 micron because the numbers are so small, and I filled in all of the numbers that I had already penciled in. And I love the simplicity of this page. I think it's really lovely to look at, and I'm happy to have it here right before I start my monthly spreads. So I really hope that you enjoyed looking through all of my my setup, and I am really excited to dive into the months before the new year starts. To finish out this video, I am going to quickly flip through my entire setup so that you can see what everything looks like. And I really hope that you enjoyed this and that you found some inspiration for your own planner or journal. And I really hope to see you back here again as I start working through each month. Take care, and we'll see you next time.